Bonjour. So now that we have hopefully learnt the jobs vocab, I just wanted to teach you a few small rules about jobs in French. So how to change them from masculine to feminine, etc. So in French, most jobs have masculine and feminine versions, depending on the gender of the person doing the job. And you would have seen that when you were writing the vocab into your notes copies over Christmas. So here are the rules that apply when making a job feminine. You add an E to make some jobs feminine. So avocat, avocate. Okay, so some of the jobs you would add an E to make them feminine. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head now. What other one? Enseignant, a teacher, enseignante. Okay, so changing it from masculine to feminine, it's very straightforward. You just add an E to make them feminine. For some of the jobs, if they end in ER, you change it to E grave RE to make it feminine. So boucher changes to boucher, so a butcher. So boucher would be a male butcher, boucher, a female butcher. For some jobs that end in EN, you change it to ENNE in the feminine. So basically you double the N and you add an E. We did something similar to that in the adjectives when we were studying them before Christmas. So for example, pharmacien, pharmacienne. Okay, so if it ends in EN, change it to ENNE. If it ends in TEUR, you change it to TRICE. So ter changes to trice in the feminine. So par exemple, for example, facteur changes to factrice. So facteur, as you remember, is a postman. Factrice would be a postwoman. Another example of that would be instituteur, changing to institutrice for a primary teacher. Okay? Some jobs only have one word for both masculine and feminine, but you can put le or la before the job to distinguish whether it's male or female. For example, le comptable, the accountant, or la comptable, the female accountant. And then some jobs are just always masculine. Okay, and I know that seems strange in a world where we're trying to get equality and feminism is there, but some jobs in French are just masculine. You'll just put le before them regardless. And I suppose the one example I want you to remember of this is le professeur. So even myself, I would say le professeur. So le professeur est Monsieur Laurent, le professeur est Madame Dupont. Now, I don't want you to overthink this rule. You don't have to be too concerned about it, but just be aware of it. Okay, now just going back and recapping over that. So to make some jobs masculine to feminine, you just add an E. If they end in ER, change it to E grave RE. If it ends in EN, double the N and add an E. If it ends in ter, change it to trice. Some of them only have a masculine form, but you can put le or la before it, and some of them you just have le before the job title. Okay, so if we look at this exercise, this is actually from your ebook, I think. So for example, for a lawyer, that's avocat. So we would add an E in the feminine, avocat. A nurse, as we know, is infirmier. Okay, ending in ER. We change that to E grave RE for the feminine. A postal worker is facteur. So the fact that it ends in TEUR, we change it to factrice for the feminine. A waiter, as you know, is serveur. Okay, and that changes to serveuse. So EUR changes to EUSE. We would have done something similar to that in the adjectives, like I said. A baker is boulanger, ending in ER. So we would change that to boulangère, E grave RE in the feminine. Receptionist is réceptionniste. It already ends in an E, so there'd be no need to add another one in the feminine. Mechanic is mécanicien, so ending in EN. So we double the N and add an E for feminine. Mécanicienne. Plumber is plombier, so again ending in ER. So you change that to plombier in the feminine. Hairdresser is coiffeur, obviously ending in EUR. That changes to coiffeuse in the feminine, EUSE. And a firefighter then is pompier. So pompier ending in ER. That changes to pompier, E grave RE in the feminine. Okay, so I hope I've explained those rules to you. Okay, it's very similar to what we learned in the adjectives. Now, just to run through a few small bits and we'll be done then. So there are actually a couple of different words for a job in French, so you'll notice that throughout our different work that we're going to do. So the key first word that I taught you was un métier. Un métier is a job. Okay, Un travail is also the word for a job. Think of the verb travailler, to work. Un emploi is another word for a job. Think of employment. So un métier, un travail, un emploi. Another word for a job is un poste. Un poste, okay? So think of applying for the post or the position of, salesperson or teacher, etc. Un boulot is more for casual work. So think of maybe summer work that you might be doing. You can see at the bottom of the page there, un petit boulot is a part-time job that's done by a young person. So un boulot, casual work, and another word that's crept into the French language in recent years is un job. Okay, just casual work as well. So the key words for a job in French, un métier, un travail, un emploi, un poste. And just be aware that un boulot, un petit boulot, part-time work or casual work. Okay? And finally then, to finish up, I did briefly mention this to you in class before Christmas. When you're talking about someone's job in French, you don't use un or une between the verb être and their job title. So if you're saying what a person's profession is, you don't use un or une, just if you're saying their profession. So for example, I am a shop assistant. In French, they just say je suis vendeur. Okay? If you want to say I would like to become a teacher, in French they just say je voudrais devenir professeur. Okay? So you don't put the un or the une in if you're just saying what your job title is. Now, you do put le, la or les before the job title if the job title is the subject of the sentence, the person doing the action. So for example, where is the waiter? Où est le serveur? Okay, you don't know where they are, you want to order. Où est le serveur? It's okay to use it there. The teacher is nice. Le professeur est sympa. Le professeur est strict. Okay, so it's fine if they're the subject of the sentence and you're directly talking about them, asking a question or saying something about them. But if you're just saying what a person's job title is, drop the un or une. And finally, you can use un, une, le, la or les if you're using an adjective to describe the person, okay, to describe the person's job. So Paul is a wonderful doctor. Paul est un médecin merveilleux. Okay, so merveilleux is marvelous, wonderful. We're using it as an adjective. We're describing the doctor as marvelous. So when you're using an adjective to describe a job title, you can use un or une before it. He is the best teacher in the school. Il est le meilleur professeur de l'école. So I'm saying the best teacher in the school. So I'm using an adjective to describe the job, the person, the profession. So I can put le or la or les before it. Okay, I hope I've explained those okay. I would recommend that you would read over or watch over that video another 2 times at least. Merci.